Hello, class of CRP 303. My name's Carly King, and my topic group is building an inclusive campus community, and I am doing my final project on improving Indigenous cultural competency through landscape design and GIS technology. So first, I want to get into the problem being addressed, which is Cal Poly's need for more cultural representation in competency efforts on campus. So Cal Poly in recent years has increased its efforts to expand diversity, equity, and inclusion-focused projects on campus, and although there are great projects in place showing that our campus is taking a step in the right direction, building in a more inclusive campus and enhancing cultural competency and representation should and will definitely remain a priority in coming years and should be an ongoing effort. And what I'll be focusing on today is Native American and Indigenous cultural representation on campus and how we can expand on existing efforts through landscape design and digital learning technology, including GIS, to increase students' cultural awareness and create an environment where active learning and appreciation for the land on which Cal Poly sits is an everyday experience for students. So this project aims to improve and increase visibility of campus spaces dedicated to Indigenous history and land acknowledgements for a broader recognition among students. So more into Cal Poly's history and some diversity statistics. The Yaqui Tutu Tahini Northern Chumash tribe has been documented living in San Luis Obispo County for over 10,000 years, and very similar to other Native American tribes in the U.S., their culture and language was outlawed. They were forced from their homes, experienced direct genocide or enslavement during the Spanish conquest and U.S. colonization, and perished from the spread of European disease. And despite all of these odds being against them, their culture is still alive, and this tribe is still actively involved in the community today. So this fact kind of highlights the importance of ensuring their culture is visible throughout campus so students are able to recognize this history and the hardships that the Northern Chumash tribe has faced, while also actively learning about their beliefs and practices as well as how they took care of the land our campus is located on. Some more statistics include how only 0.12%, which is about 24 of Cal Poly students' population, reported their ethnic origin as Native American, according to Cal Poly's 2020 Institutional Research Survey. So this is a very low number and just kind of shows the importance of our campus's efforts towards creating a more inclusive and welcoming environment to these students. And according to data collected in fall 2020, Cal Poly's white identifying student population is 54%, twice as high as the CSU and UC average. And again, this statistic just kind of shows the dire need for diversity and inclusion efforts at Cal Poly and how it's important for us to create a more inclusive campus. So current campus strengths and efforts include the Native American Indigenous walking tour, and the focus of my project revolves around this walking tour, and it was a project developed in 2023 by ethnic studies students and computer science students, and this tour provides students with knowledge of the original YTT Northern Chumash tribe settlements and explores parts of campus with different representation of their culture and history. There's also the Native American and Indigenous Cultural Center, which embraces students to connect or reconnect with culture and traditions of Native Americans and other Indigenous peoples, and provides a safe community for students to share and bond over Native knowledge. And the Yaqui Tutu housing community was designed in collaboration with the Northern Chumash tribe to bring visibility to pre-colonial geography, with each dormitory being named after a different Northern Chumash village site. So this project was created with constant communication and approval of the YTT people to ensure accurate representation of the village's locations and the meanings of their names. And this is kind of a great example of how our campus is trying to include like daily recognition of Indigenous history and culture on campus, because students are then immersed in the Chumash language since their dorms are named after them. And they also include a lot of artwork that kind of correlates with the different names of the dormitories as well. So my project and my proposal revolves around using GIS and digital learning to enhance cultural awareness. So my proposal is kind of in addition to the digitally guided Indigenous walking tour of Cal Poly, which utilizes ArcGIS story map technology to provide students and visitors with information on the YTT Chumash tribe's history, culture, and connection to the land. And if some of you aren't familiar, ArcGIS is a geographic information systems like spatial analysis technology that's used for a variety of different mapping, like geological mapping purposes. So the existing walking tour visits different places on campus where Chumash culture is highlighted through artwork, architecture, and landscaping. And I wanted to expand more on this using ArcGIS Storyboard and integrating features of a different app called PlantNet, which is a tool used to help identify plants through pictures. So like you scan the plant and the app will process it and then tell you information about the plant. And by integrating the purpose of the digital ArcGIS storyboard, which is to educate students on the YTT Chumash tribe culture and history, with a digital plant identifier, could like further educate students on exactly how the very landscape our campus was built on and its natural resources were utilized by the tribe. And my proposal is to include different markers on the guided tour map, or create a separate storyboard map of specific parts of campus with native landscaping, including like the native trees, perennials, grasses, and then students will be able to use the PlantNet app that will pop up on the storyboard to identify a certain plant, which will then give information and describe its use to the YTT Chumash tribe. And native plants are abundant on campus, and there's like an ongoing effort to ensure that we include native landscaping. But so many students are unaware of the deep cultural significance to the Chumash tribe and their diverse uses. So I believe if students are able to learn about the landscape in like a positive and meaningful way, they could like correlate the plants they see every day with the Northern Chumash tribes understanding of the plants and the native landscaping, and they could develop a deeper appreciation for the natural environment while also recognizing the deep-rooted connection the indigenous population has with these resources as well. And this could increase cultural competency on campus by reminding students that the land we are on belonged to the Northern Chumash tribe originally, and the natural beauty could be like an everyday reminder of its historic and ecological significance. And then this slide is just an example of what kind of the storyboard setup looks like on ArcGIS. So it shows the different places the guided walking tour kind of takes you for. So, it just highlights kind of how it guides you through campus to different areas with cultural significance or artwork highlighting the Northern Chumash tribe culture. And then the second image is an example of how PlantNet app functions by scanning photos of plants to obtain information on them. And this will be utilized in the storyboard setup to kind of provide information on the original uses of these plants by the Northern Chumash tribe, including like ceremonial uses or medicinal uses, or if they were used as food. So it could be a very informational way to teach students about their culture. And then ethical considerations include emphasizing the importance of communication and consent from the Northern Chumash tribal members when collecting data and information on the original uses of native plants around campus to ensure the information accurately represents their cultural uses of these resources. It should also be remembered that this is an addition to the Indigenous Walking Tour. It's not just supposed to be a learning tool, but also a form of recognition that this land was originally inhabited and taken care of by the Native people living here. So this effort should aim to ensure Native students and their culture are visibly recognized and highly valued as like a defining part of our campus community, and just an everyday reminder to all students as well. And these are my references that I used for the research on this project. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.